Pyramid Head, one of the most disturbing creatures in all of fiction. He appears in Silent Hill 2, and he isn't just there to chase or kill. He's there to punish. But not just anyone. He's tied to one specific person's mind. James Sunderland, the game's protagonist. Pyramid Head looks like an executioner on purpose. That big triangular helmet, it hides his face, making him less human and more like a force of judgment. And that massive blade he drags, it's not just for slicing. It's like the weight of guilt itself. In fact, Pyramid Head shows up only to those who are haunted by shame, regret, and emotional pain. The disturbing part? He doesn't kill randomly. He tortures, abuses, and sometimes reenacts James's own dark past. He forces the player to make uncomfortable truths about grief, rage, and guilt. He's like a living nightmare born from James's subconscious. So he isn't just a monster, he's a mirror, a terrifying symbol of what we try to hide from ourselves. And that's the real horror. What if the scariest monster isn't outside of us, but something our own mind creates to punish us? The Thing, a shape-shifting alien parasite from the 1982 sci-fi horror classic. It crashes in Antarctica, quietly infecting a research station, and begins to copy life forms perfectly, down to the last detail. It doesn't just kill you, it becomes you. And worse, it acts like you, talks like you, until it's ready to strike. There's no dramatic entrance, no loud roars, just silence, suspicion, and paranoia. Anyone could be the Thing, and that's what makes it so terrifying. People turn on each other, friendships collapse, everyone starts doubting everyone else and themselves. It's not just a monster, it's a virus of fear. And then comes the body horror. When does it reveal itself? It's pure nightmare fuel, limbs twist, heads split open, bodies melt into grotesque forms. There's no logic to its shape because it's not one creature, it's every creature it's ever absorbed. The Thing isn't just scary because of what it does. It's scary because it makes you ask, what would I do if I couldn't trust anyone, not even myself? So, here's the real question. If the Thing were among us today, would you even know before it was too late? Imagine stepping into a silent, crumbling hall, beautiful, but wrong. A feast is laid out in front of you, untouched, and at the far end of the table sits a motionless creature with sagging skin, no eyes, and hands resting on the table like dead weight. That's the Pale Man, a monster from Pan's Labyrinth who doesn't chase you at first, he waits. Still, quiet, terrifying. But the second you disobey the unspoken rules, take a bite of food, even just one grape, he awakens. And when he moves, it's unforgettable. He lifts his clawed hands to his face and reveals that his eyes are in his palms. That single image has burned itself into horror history. But it's not just the design that makes him so disturbing, it's what he represents. The Pale Man is more than a child-eating monster. He's a symbol, a twisted reflection of institutional evil, cruel systems that look away until it's time to punish. In the film, he mirrors the authoritarian regime, where obedience is everything and cruelty hides behind ritual. His lair is filled with paintings of him devouring children, yet the food sits out like bait. It's a trap for the innocent, for those too hungry, too curious, or too brave. The Pale Man doesn't just punish rule breakers, he exists to punish. So imagine this, a world where monsters don't scream. They wait, and when you finally see their eyes, it's already too late. What's more terrifying than a monster? A loved one who suddenly turns into one and wants to kill you. That's Mia from Resident Evil 7. When you first meet her, she's the missing wife of the game's protagonist, Ethan. He spent years looking for her, but when he finally finds her, she's not the woman he remembers. At first, Mia seems fragile and scared. Then, without warning, she changes. Her face twists, her voice turns demonic, and she attacks. One moment she's crying for help, the next she's trying to saw your head off. It's not just her violence, it's the unpredictability that gets under your skin. You never know if you're about to get a hug or a hatchet. Mia is more than just a zombie. She's infected with a mind-controlling fungus that warps her body and mind. But what makes it so disturbing is that underneath it all, part of her is still in there, screaming silently while the infection puppets her around. And that makes every encounter deeply personal. You're not just fighting to survive, you're fighting someone you once loved. Someone who might still be in there watching, trapped. So here's the real horror. What if someone you loved turned into something inhuman and begged you to kill them? Could you do it? I couldn't. The Babadook. At first, it looks like a creepy children's book. Black coat, top hat, long claws. But this isn't your average monster. The Babadook doesn't just hide under the bed. It grows from something deeper. Grief. Amelia, the mother in the story, is struggling. Her husband died in a car crash on the way to the hospital when she was giving birth. She never truly healed, and now, raising her son alone, she's barely holding it together. Then, Mr. Babadook arrives, a book that shouldn't exist. Her son says the monster is real. At first, she doesn't believe him. But strange things begin to happen. Shadows move, voices whisper, sleep disappears, and slowly, Amelia starts unraveling. That's when it hits you. The Babadook isn't just a monster, it's her grief, her rage, her trauma, personified. The more she denies it, the stronger it gets. It wants to consume her, and it nearly does. What makes the Babadook unforgettable isn't jump scares, it's emotional truth. It shows how pain ignored can become a monster of its own. And the scariest part? You don't defeat the Babadook. You live with it because once it's in, you can never get rid of it. Suppose there was a name so cursed, even typing it could unravel reality itself. That's the eerie presence of Zalgo, an internet-born myth that isn't a creature in the traditional sense, but a concept, a virus of chaos. Zalgo doesn't chase you down a hallway or lunge from the shadows. Instead, he corrupts. Words begin to melt, images glitch, sentences that once made sense now crawl across the screen like something deceased. Eyes leak black goo. Fonts drip like blood. He lives in the corners of the digital world, in broken webcomics, strange memes, and glitched texts. You'll know when he's close. The message is always the same. He comes. No reason, no backstory, just a warning. You can't quite understand, but feel in your bones. Zalgo is the horror of losing structure. He represents what happens when order crumbles, not just in your surroundings, but in your mind. He doesn't rip flesh or roar in your ear. He scrambles the meaning. He infects logic. He erases the line between sanity and madness until even your own thoughts feel corrupted. He is the modern myth for the digital age, a whisper from the void in a world that runs on clean code and tidy answers. So when the screen flickers, when a harmless meme turns disturbing, when your brain says, this shouldn't exist, remember, Zalgo doesn't come for your body. He comes for everything else. Brundlefly. It starts with Seth Brundle, a brilliant but eccentric scientist who invented teleportation pods. He's excited, driven, and a little reckless. One night, thinking he's perfected his machine, he steps in to teleport himself, but he doesn't realize a common housefly has slipped into the pod with him. The result isn't instant. At first, he feels stronger, smarter, almost superhuman, but soon things go wrong. Very wrong. His fingernails fall out, his skin peels, he starts craving sugar, walking on walls, and losing control of his body and mind. Bit by bit, he mutates into something inhuman, a horrifying fusion of man and fly. But what makes Brundlefly truly disturbing isn't just the gooey body horror, it's the tragedy. Seth is fully aware of what's happening. He watches himself fall apart. His mind, his body, his relationships all dissolve. He tries to hold on, to fix it, but the science that once empowered him is now destroying him. Brundlefly is a warning that the line between genius and madness, progress and destruction is razor thin. By the end, we're not just watching a monster, we're witnessing a man lose everything that made him human. And that's what makes it unforgettable. What if the beings who created humanity didn't love us, but wanted to destroy us? That's the disturbing mystery behind the engineers in Prometheus and the Alien series. They're tall, pale, godlike figures, ancient and advanced. According to the film's lore, they didn't just visit Earth, they made us. Humanity exists because of them. But when we go searching for answers, hoping to meet our creators, we find horror instead of hope. The engineers don't talk. They don't explain. They look at us like ants. Their silence is chilling because it leaves everything unanswered. Why did they make us? Why did they plan our extinction? Why do they seem so disgusted by us? Even worse, they're connected to the creation of the xenomorphs, the ultimate alien nightmare. It turns out the monsters weren't accidents. They were designed. Bioweapons made by the engineers. And maybe we were too. Just another experiment. There's something deeply unsettling about learning your entire species might have been made by cold, godlike beings with no love, only control, power, and rage. The engineers flip the idea of divine creators on its head. They're not our saviors, they're our end. So here's the question. What if finding the truth about our origin doesn't bring peace, but proves we were never meant to survive? Which of these monsters disturbed you the most? Or did we miss one even worse? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more fictional nightmares explained.